Hey, my dear friends, how are you all doing? Look, a lot of people send me messages saying the following. Professor Robson, I know how to do the math, but when it comes to reading those faucet problems, I freeze up. That's right. Jose from Corumbá, Mato Grosso do Sul, said exactly that in the last video. Sometimes we just don't know how to read what the problem is asking for. Today, I'm going to put an end to that mystery. I brought 4 real exam questions, including this one here on the screen, which just appeared now, in 2025 in a tough FGV exam from 2024. If you want to learn to interpret and always know if the tank fills or empties, stick with me until the end, and you'll leave here knowing how. A master at faucet problems, so grab your paper and pen, and let's go to the board. Before anything else, let me explain the right shortcut for faucet problems. If you get faucet questions wrong, it's because you're trying to memorize formulas. Pay attention to the reasoning. Each faucet has a flow rate, that is, a part of the tank per hour. For example, if a faucet fills a tank in 3 hours, in 1 hour, it will fill 1/3 of the tank. In the same way, if another faucet fills the tank in 6 hours, in 1 hour, the faucet will fill 1/6 of the tank. When both are open together, you add the rates 1/3 plus 1/6, taking 1/3 plus 1/6, that's equal to 1/2. That is, together. They fill half of the tank per hour. Now comes the key point. If they fill half of the tank in 1 hour, consequently, it will take 2 hours to fill the whole tank. So the general rule is this. Take the fractions, and in the end, invert the result to find the total time. Now, there's a trick. There is, but only when they start together. The trick is this. The total time to fill the tank will be T1 times T2 over T1 plus T2, that is, the product over the sum. The first time multiplied by the second time, divided by the first time plus the second time, for example. Let's use that example I gave at the beginning as a basis. Faucet A fills a tank in 3 hours and faucet B fills a tank in 6 hours. To find the total time they take to fill the tank together, you multiply them, which is 3 times 6 divided by the sum, which is 3 plus 6. 3 times 6 is 18 divided by 9, which equals 2 hours. See, it's the same result that we just found now. Be careful. This shortcut only works when the faucets start together. None of them stop in the middle. There's no leakage, and the tank starts empty. If anything changes, go back to the basics. They're just some ratios, all right? Well, now that you already have the basics of how to solve faucet problems, let's go to the first problem here, which is a problem from the City Hall of Cariacica, Espírito Santo. That happened now in 2025, and it says the following. On a farm, a water reservoir is supplied by 2 faucets. The first faucet fills 1/9 of the reservoir per hour, and the second faucet fills 1/8 of the reservoir per hour. If both faucets are open together, how long will it take for the reservoir to be completely filled? Well, I'll show you both ways to solve this. First, let's solve it using the traditional method. Look, the problem has already given us the flow rate of each one, the first way. The first faucet fills 1/9 of the reservoir per hour, so the flow rate of faucet A is 1/9 and the flow rate of faucet B is 1/18. 1/18. I'll put it here just to organize it. 1 over 18. Well, solving it using the traditional method. Let's add the fractions here. Look, first faucet, 1/9 plus the second faucet, 1/18. Here we have a sum of fractions with different denominators. We have to solve it by finding the LCM between 9 and 18. The LCM between 9 and 18. Here's what we're going to do. Let's solve it right here on the side. 9, 18. Breaking it down into prime factors here. Divide by 2, 9 stays the same. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Now divide by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Divide by 3 again. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. So the LCM between 9 and 18 is 18 itself. So, continuing here, look, it's going to be like this. I'm going to put 18 here as our new denominator. We take this denominator and divide it by the denominators of the fractions. So, dividing here, 18 divided by 9 is equal to 2. 18 divided by 18 is equal to 1. Now we take these results and multiply them by the numerators of the fractions. 2 times 1 is equal to 2, plus 1 times 1 is equal to 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. So 3/18 we can simplify by 3, simplifying the top and bottom by 3. Here, look, 3 divided by 3 is 1, 18 divided by 3 is 6. What do we conclude? That both together, I'll even write it here, look, a plus B. Together, they fill 1/6 of the tank in 1 hour, and both faucets together fill 1/6 of the tank in 1 hour. Consequently, they will take 6 hours to fill the whole tank. That's what I said at the beginning. You're going to add the fractions at the end. You just have to invert it, inverting here. Look, so a plus B will fill the whole tank in 6 hours. Now there's this option here. Notice that the options are in minutes. If I have 6 hours and want to convert to minutes, we just need to multiply by 60. 1 hour is 60 minutes, right? I'll put it here. Look, 6 times 60. 6 times 6 is 36. So 6 times 60 is 360 minutes. So whoever chose letter A here, look, got the question right, okay? Both together fill the tank in 360 minutes. Got it? If you solved it in a different way than I did, let me know in the comments. Now, solving it with the trick, product over sum. Look, I almost forgot here. Look, the first faucet, A, fills 1/9 of the tank per hour. So, faucet A will fill the whole tank, the entire tank, in 9 hours. Now, if faucet B fills 1/8 of the tank in 1 hour, then faucet B will take 18 hours to fill the tank. So, using the formula I mentioned, total time will be equal to T1 times T2 over T1 plus T2, where T minus 1 is the time for the first one and T minus 2 is the time for the second one. Great. So here, look, the total time that both together will take to fill the tank will be equal to the time of the first faucet, which is 9, times the time of the second, which is 18, over the time of the first, plus the time of the second. So solving it, look, 9 times 18, 162 over 9 plus 18, 27. Solving this division, it's equal to 6. That is, they take 6 hours to fill the tank. Since the options are in minutes, just multiply by 60. 6 times 60 equals 360. That is 360 minutes. Correct answer, letter A. Let's go to the second question. Well, this problem here is from the municipal exam in Porteiras, Ceará, which took place in 2018. And it says the following. Look, faucet A fills a tank in 3 hours. Faucet B fills that same tank in 6 hours. In 6 hours, faucet A is opened, and after 1 hour, faucet B is opened. How long will it take for the tank to be full? You can't start by using the product over sum formula here, because it already starts with faucet A open by itself for 1 hour, okay? Now pay attention. If faucet A fills the tank in 3 hours and it stayed open for 1 hour, in 1 hour it will fill 1/3 of the tank. That's it. If it fills the tank in 3 hours, in 1 hour it will only fill 1 part out of the 3 parts. So faucet A here, look, in 1 hour, I'll put it here. Look, in 1 hour A filled 1/3 of the tank, okay? In 1 hour, faucet A filled 1/3 of the tank. Now think with me. If faucet A filled 1/3 of the tank, how much is left? 2/3 are left, right? If it filled 1 part out of a total of 3 parts, 2 parts out of 3 are left. I'll put it here. Look, 2/3 are left. Now after 1 hour, both faucets were open together. Isn't that right? So let's calculate. Let's figure out how long it takes for both faucets together to fill the tank. I know that faucet A fills the tank in 3 hours and faucet B in 6 hours, so let's go. The time to fill the whole tank with both together will be 3 times 6 over 3 plus 6. Now, right? After 1 hour, both faucets were open together. Yeah, in the first hour, faucet A was open alone. After 1 hour, they opened the second faucet and both faucets stayed open together. To fill the rest of the tank then, let's calculate how long it takes for both together to fill the entire tank. And actually, what we want to calculate here is 2/3. But let's first calculate how long it takes to fill the whole tank, the total, with both together. It will be the time of the first faucet, that is T1 times the time of the second, which is T2 over T1 plus T2. So the first faucet's time is 3 multiplied by the second faucet's time, which is 6 over 3 plus 6. 3 times 6, 18. So T will be equal to 18 over 9. So we conclude that together they take 2 hours to fill the tank. Now we don't want this total time. We want to calculate here. Look, 2/3 are left. We know that together they take 2 hours to fill the whole tank, so we just need to calculate 2/3 of 2 hours. That's great. So, calculating here, 2/3 of 2 hours, 2 times 2 is 4. So it's going to be 4 over 3. I repeat, 4/3 of an hour. Continuing down here, 4/3 times 60. Well, 60. We can simplify by 3. 60 divided by 3 is 20. So it's 4 times 20, which equals 80. 80, what? 80 minutes. And actually, 80 minutes is equal to 1 hour and 20 minutes, right? 1 hour is 60 minutes. So it's going to be equal to 1 hour and 20 minutes. So that's the time because both faucets together filled, look, 2/3 of the tank, which was what was missing. But there's also that 1 hour when faucet A was open by itself, so adding that 1 hour when faucet A was open alone. It will be like this. Look, 1 hour and 20 minutes plus 1 hour, that's 2 hours and 20 minutes, all right? How long will it take for the tank to be full? It will be full in 2 hours and 20 minutes. If you chose letter E, that was the correct answer, all right? Did you solve it in a different way than I did? Tell me in the comments. Well, let's go to the third question. Look, well, this problem here is from the City Hall of Paulínia, São Paulo, which happened in 2015 from the Tully Varga Foundation exam board. A 1,000-liter water tank is filled by 2 faucets, A and B. Faucet A has a flow rate of 12 liters per minute and faucet B, 8 liters per minute. With the tank empty, faucet A was opened, and after 20 minutes, faucet B was also opened. From the moment the first faucet was opened until the tank was full, how many minutes passed? Here are the options. First, try to solve it on your own, then tell me in the comments because I'm going to show you the solution now. Well, right away here, the flow rate of faucet A, the question already said that the flow rate is 12 liters per minute. I'll write it here. A equals 12 liters per minute. So, what about the flow rate of faucet B? Problem? It also told us that faucet B is 8 liters per minute. So, I'll write here as well. Faucet B equals 8 liters per minute. Now, let's use our logical reasoning a little bit. The problem tells us the following, okay? With the tank empty, faucet A was opened, and after 20 minutes, faucet B was also opened. In other words, faucet A stayed open for 20 minutes. Let's calculate. Here, faucet A fills 12 liters per minute. Let's calculate in those 20 minutes how many liters faucet A put into the tank. So, we just need to multiply here. Look, faucet A, 20 minutes times 12 liters per minute. 20 times 12 is 240. 240 liters in those 20 minutes that faucet A put into the tank. All right. Now, if faucet A has already put 200 liters of water into the tank, how many liters are left to fill the tank? I'll put it here. Look, if the tank holds 1,000 liters and 240 liters have already been put in, we just need to subtract 1,000 minus 240. That's 760 liters. So there are 760 liters left. Well, after those 20 minutes when the faucet was running alone, both of them were running together, right? So let's add the 2 flow rates here. Look, A plus B will be equal, well, faucet A has a flow rate of 12 liters per minute, and faucet B has a flow rate of 8 liters per minute. So together they have a flow rate of 20 liters per minute, and together they have a flow rate of 20 liters per minute. And we know that there are 760 liters left to fill the tank, so we just need to divide this time. It will be 760 liters divided by 20 liters per minute. Solving this division, we can cell the 0 on top with the 0 on the bottom. So look, 76 divided by 2 equals 38 minutes. That's the time it took for both together to fill 760 liters, which was what was missing. Now the question is as follows. Is that clear, okay? From the moment the first faucet was opened until the tank was full, how many minutes passed? Here, okay? The first faucet was open alone for 20 minutes, and then both together for another 38 minutes. Taking this total time here, 20 minutes with the first faucet alone plus 38 minutes with both together. To fill what was left, which is these 760 liters, taking 20 plus 38, that's 58 minutes. This is the time it took from opening the first faucet until the tank was full. So, who marked 58 minutes here, which is letter D? You got it right and aced the question. But hold on. Before we finish, I prepared a challenge for you that's showing up here on the screen. I want to see who really learned how to interpret. If I had a third faucet that got clogged halfway, what would change in our reasoning? I left the full problem statement here in the description for you to solve, okay? So, my friends, did you see how reading comprehension changes the game in math? If you had just followed a formula and didn't understand the delay of that second faucet, you would have gotten the problem wrong for nothing. So, if you felt like this lesson opened your mind, do you want to have this step-by-step approach in all math topics? To finally pass your civil service exam, the link to my course 80 plus the test, Math from Scratch for Civil Service Exams, is right here. In the description and in the first pinned comment there, I take you by the hand and teach you how to interpret everything from scratch. Now leave it here in the comments. Which of these 4 problems did you find the most difficult? The one about the identical faucets or the one about the reservoir problem from 2025? I want to know. A big hug from Professor Robson Lyers. I'll see you in the next class.